So I'm going to load this up and melt this. Let's get this out of the way. Let's move the big blocks out of the way. I'm going to move the book cover out of the way. Keep my palette knife out. I'm going to keep some wax out. It will probably, I'll probably have to heat this several times. But I'm just going to make a little puddle here. And the thing of it is when I hit this with a heat gun, it will... So I'm going to have to keep my heat gun fairly high until it starts to melt. And then as it melts, I can kind of feed it a little. And this is me experimenting because let's get all of this out of the way because it'll melt on my tabletop. I should have put wax paper down. I didn't. See, it's starting to melt, so I can go closer now. I don't want to go too close. And this tin, Beth Schuler said she put her heat gun in a tin can. And look, it's starting to run down there. I got too much on it. Let's see what I can do here. So I'm going to start right here. And where's my palette knife? Of course. And I'm just going to kind of hold it there and drag it through the wax. And hope that I have enough. Let's drag it through this. Just drag it through. I'm holding on to it too tight. All right. I have too much here. I'm going to take some of this off because it's starting to get cool. And I'm going to put it up there. I don't need all of this. Now let's get off of my desk. And Laura says, Mary, what are you doing? You're messing up my desktop. Laura Vasquez gifted me this black Tim Holtz gift desktop, and I use and use and use it. Thank you, Laura. I love the grid on this. And I noticed that he has another one. Now see, this is all waxed. I would use this for binding. This part here isn't waxed, so when I heat this up, I might pull this through just to get the top, because that's where I was pulling from. But this is all waxed. I would entirely use this. And yeah, it's pretty good too. It stops right here. I was only able to do about a foot, but maybe as I, well, I don't know. I think I can only melt a little of this at a time without it running down onto my desk. I'm going to look for another. I guess I could. I'm dumping that out. I could use that, but I think it would just run down. So we'll keep going with this, and hopefully I haven't messed up my. Did I? Yeah. Let me get this thread out of off of my lap. All right. I'm happy with this. This is a way to, in fact, I might snip this out of my live stream and put it as a standalone how-to video, how to wax your own thread. And of course, I'll get people saying, you can do it this way and you can do it that way. Yeah, you can, but this is the way I'm doing it. I'll put another way to wax your own thread so you don't have to buy it. And it smells good. It smells good. And yeah, it's running down on my desk, but I can scrape it up. So I'm going to drag this part of it, the front part of it, through there. And so that I have this part all waxed. Oh, I'm loving that. And then we're going to drag, I think I ended right about here. Maybe if I drag it over. And as I do this, this is, you know, this is only the second time I've tried it. As I do it more, I'll learn. I'll learn what's the best way to pull this thread through. I'll learn things about it. And we'll see how this is already, it's already getting hard. And keep this away from your heat. Otherwise you'll have wax melted on your tabletop. Let's move this down a little. Whoops, here. I need just a little bit more of a ridge there on my lid, but I don't want too much of a ridge because then I can't get my knife blade in there. And this will come off of the tabletop. I'm not too worried about it. It's just wax. It's candle wax. And I might still have too much on there. Now, I suppose you could heat it in a jar and dip it in a jar, dip your string. Let's put that up there. That's probably what they do when they make wicks. But I have several feet of string. And I'd have to pull it out in such a way that it wouldn't all stick together, is what I'm saying, if I put it in a jar. Yeah, I'm going to tangle it there. I'm going to have to untangle that. Trying to get it before it all it dries. Solidifies. All right, so now I can, if I just run my fingers like, I think I'll start here and just run it down. And I can feel like here's a little thicker in there. I can kind of pull it down. And even kind of trim it off with my fingernail. But this is all waxed. I can feel it. I would journal with it. I mean, I would use it to bind. So I've got probably about 22 inches here. I would do a small journal, but now let me shake this out a little because I may have gotten too much here and then I dumped it out of the lid there. So let me kind of shake this a little to get any knots. And we'll do another segment here. I think I'll start right in. I feel it here, and then it starts to get thinner. I think I'll start right here. But this is all waxed in here. I can feel it. It's as good as wax thread. And I'll bet you if you type in a hack for making your own wax thread. I'll bet you get 10 million different ways of how to do this. I did not do this. This is my way. I'm going to push this further back and bring that down a little more. All right, and let's... Now, you don't need a whole lot of wax. I think I'm going to try dumping this off and try to do it this way so it won't run onto the desk as much. I might have a little bit harder time getting my knife in there. And I might put a little bit more in there, because if it runs, it will run into the edge here. And it probably will. And this is just the lid to the, what was it? Orange marmalade jelly jar. I almost bought some more orange marmalade, but I said I still have some in the refrigerator I need to eat up. My brother doesn't eat it, but I like it on toast. Okay, I'm all into doing this. Let me go down to the bottom, see if I missed anybody coming in. Lori's here, Goldie's here. They're laughing at something. My feet, Andy says, are cold and I hate socks. Lori says, night, night, I might fall asleep. I'm going to try. Goldie says, you need a heating pad for your feet. Jen says, you can always do a special live stream tomorrow too, Mary. Let's see, tomorrow's Saturday. I've got to work out in the yard tomorrow, but I don't know, I might late tomorrow night. Look for me, I might tomorrow night. I've got to put that landscape fabric down because I want it down. I want it down so that I can have a flower garden next year. And my brother and I have some trees, some volunteer trees that need to be chainsawed, and my brother can't do it because of his back. So he supervises, and I get to learn how to use the chainsaw. I've done it for 2 years now, you would think, but I don't feel safe doing it by myself. And we've been putting it off, and it's going to snow pretty soon, and it won't get done. So tomorrow's the day. So I don't know. We'll see if I stream tomorrow or not. If I stream, it'll be late at night. Oh, there it goes. I'm going to, my heat gun is complaining. I'm going to put more in here, and maybe it will, that's a big chunk. Maybe it will stay juicier longer with, let's just try this. Can't hurt. It can't hurt. Well, it can hurt, but all right, let's get this out of the way. I don't want it melting on my desk. And see, this is stuck down just a little because I had wax on the bottom of my lid because it was the top of my lid before. I still have to learn how to make that wax paste. I'm not there. It did not work successfully for me. But I can still use what I have. It just isn't wax paste. I'm going to let this get real juicy. big old hunk doesn't want to melt. He's getting melted. You're melting. Ah, melting. All right, now I need to work fast here. I want to grab my thread. I want to grab my knife, and I just want to pull it through here. And you want to pull it at a pretty steady pace, otherwise it'll clump up on your thread. And now what am I going to do? Am I going to grab it here? I can. Come on, get in there. I have to get it at a good angle that I can hold on to it. Get over this way. I think this works better having it melted in the lid there. Because even though it's warm, it doesn't burn my fingers. And it's falling into the wax, so it's getting a good coat. It's falling into the melted wax, and I'm down to a knot. Here, I've got to shake this out. Shake it out! Shake it out! And I'm just kind of guiding it with my knife. Just kind of holding it in place. Oh, this is working for me. It's turning my thread a little pink, but that doesn't matter. All right, I'm down to another shake out here. Shaky, shaky, shake. Come on. Shake it out, shake it out. Come on. There, that's good. Now I think, see, this stays hot enough. It's starting to solidify, but I think I can still drag it through. But I'll probably have to, probably have to hit it with the heat gun again. Let's hit it with the heat gun. Let's get this out of the way. See, it gets pretty solid fast. But I did a whole bunch of it. I like putting this in the tin. I was holding it in my lap and it got hot. Yeah, I think I'm right about in here. So just kind of guide it through. It wants to kind of stick to my fingers. This worked. This is working for me. Yay! No more having to buy wax thread. I'm going to snip this segment of my live stream out and put it into a tutorial, maybe a little, well, not tutorial, just a video on how to wax your thread. How I wax my thread, let's put it that way. Or you can go buy it. Or you can do it any other way that you find. I'm going to start over here and kind of redo that. Get off my fingers. It's starting to solidify again. All right, I'm going to hit it again with the heat gun. I got it on my fingers. All right. And this is a way to use up use up the old candles that that when you don't burn them all. It's a way to use up your candle scraps. I'm getting there. Might have to hit this again with the heat gun. It's getting thick again. And I'm getting it on my desk here too. We'll have to clean my desk off. It'll clean. Let's make sure that my rest of my thread is fairly usable there. Let's hit it with the heat gun again. I do have a little candle warmer. I should have probably got it out, but I have to, in order to use that, my heat gun, and have you guys plugged in, I have to unplug you guys to use all of that. So this works. I don't mind hitting it with the heat gun periodically. Oh, I could plug it in over there. I've got a surge protector with several sockets, but that's a lot of trouble. Come on, don't. I just got a few feet left. Come on. Did that get waxed? Yeah. Got it on my fingers. My fingers feel soft. What's this? A thread? A piece of fabric? Let's shake this out a little. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm making sure my thread is not tangling. And I shake it. I shake it like this. And it's not tangles yet. It's just kind of, they're not knotted. And if you shake it, you shake the tangles out of it. Most of them. Sometimes you have to make them be good here. But you don't want to pull them tight. You just kind of shake them. Come on. Just a few more here. All right. This should be good. Now I should be on my last lap. So let's clean the desk. And see, I had melted wax on the top of this lid, and so there's wax here that gets on the bottom here when I heat that. So that's what all this is. And if you just take your palette knife and pick up the wax pieces, it comes right up. And it also, I think, comes up with my hand sanitizer. But I'll get as much of this off as I can. And I'm going to put that big chunk back in the, but we're going to put these little ones up here in the, and put all of those in there, as many as I can. I feel like a chef when they pick up their chopped veggies. They go shoot, bump. All right. It's not perfect, but I'm going to melt this. And I have maybe about 4 feet, maybe 5 feet left to do. And then we'll wind it on a stick. I got sticks behind me. That's the next thing I want to do. And we still want to make those ATC tags. Look at that. Now you could put, this is coming up pretty easy, but if it wasn't coming up easy like this, you put it in your freezer and then it'll just knock right out. In fact, I had all of this. This was 2 candles melted together, and all of this in here that I've chopped. But it was in a container that fit this lid. It's not in here. But I put the container in the freezer, and the lid, the container itself had a curved body, and the wax was kind of caught under the curve, so I had to chop on the sides to get it out. But it was real easy to get out because it was frozen. That's not a wax piece, I don't think. That's a piece of red fabric. All right, let's melt this and do the last of the thread. And you can see I did not use a whole lot of wax to do this. It isn't like you need a whole candle. I'm happy that it's working. I'm pretty proud of myself. Looks like I got something in it here. Can I get that out? Well, we'll leave it on the side there, and I'll get it out when I clean it. All right. So this is all waxed to this point, I think. To right there. So I'm just going to pull it a little bit further this way. Hold it down as best that I can and pull it. I'm not getting a good hold on it. There. Pull it through. I don't have a good hold on it. My fingers want to catch on to it. Can you see it solidifying? It's the wax is getting solid. Now I'm going to have to melt it again. If I can get this spot here. Alrighty. Honestly, I just have a few feet left. I like that tin for my heat gun. That's a good tip if you're using a heat gun. When you want to set it aside, set it in a tin. I got that from Beth Schuler. Come on. Come on, I'm not getting a good hold on it. Just got a little left, about a yard. I might have to hit it with the heat gun again. I'll get better at it. I probably don't have the right type of lid, but at least it's not running down on my desk like it did when I did it on the other side. Oh, there's that piece again. Can't get it out. All right, let's hit this again with the heat gun. I got distracted. Looks like I got some little pieces in there too, in here. Get away from that. I got to work out a good way. If I had my finger protectors on, I would put my fingers down in there. Like that. Doesn't burn. It's warm. It doesn't burn too much. If I just hit it with a heat gun, it would probably burn me. The lid is hot. Get that back in there. And my glasses are running down my nose. Let's get these. Hold it a minute. Let's get these guys out of there. They were distracting me. Come on. You don't need to be in there. Are you all out? Is there one more in there? Yeah, being a stubborn so-and-so. I'll throw those away. Probably off of the rim of the jar. Off of the rim of the lid as I dig in here. We just got a little left. A little thread left. A couple feet. If I could just get a hold of it the right way. Works best with my finger. I'm going to find my finger protectors. My brother has another doctor appointment next Tuesday, I believe. And I'm going to stop at Hobby Lobby and I'll buy 5 packages of them if I have to. Come on, I'm just about done here. There we go. I got it on my finger here. Now, I'm going to set this aside. Put my glasses back on my nose. And I'm just going to kind of pull on this to kind of even any rough spots out. Like here is a little thick right there. Just kind of smooth it out a little. And it is waxy. It's really waxy here. I really got it in there. Kind of smooth it out a little. Palette knife out of the way. I'm just doing this to suit me. It's another thick spot in here. And when it starts to solidify and I'm working with it, I want to find a better lid to use. Maybe something that's a little wider. This might have worked. This might have worked. Because I could get my palette knife in there better. But even like a wider lid, a 4 or 5 inch lid, that's 3. Probably around 3 inches. No, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a 4 inch lid. An 8 inch lid. I'm just kind of smoothing making sure that the wax on some of it gets a little thick. You can see where I've scraped it off of the thick thread, the thickness. I'm pretty happy with it. It's thick in here. Of course, this up in here is where I was first working with it. So, you know, as I learned more about it, it worked a little better, I think. I did a lot of it. I'm going to wrap it on one of those twigs. I'm just kind of running it between my fingers to kind of feel where the thick spots are and kind of scrape it up down a little. Like right in here, right in there. It's a little thick in there. There we go. Now I got it in my fingernail. All right, let's kind of clean off my desk a little. It doesn't have to be pristine. And I can remelt this. I could make me a wick. I could use some of this thread probably for a wick. Don't you think? And make me a candle. I'm not going to do that tonight. But I could probably get an empty candle holder. I've got that metal one. Make me a wick. You make a little, probably aluminum foil would work. And make a little holder for it. And have a wick. And melt your wax, probably in a double boiler. I think that's how they do it. I could probably melt it in the microwave, but I don't want it to get super hot. So I'd probably melt it in a double boiler. Or even on a candle warmer, a little at a time. Use my heat gun. I'm cleaning off my desk. Isn't this exciting to watch Meri clean the wax off of her desktop? All right. Probably a warm rag would, or even the heat gun. I might hit my heat gun on the desktop and take my towel and wipe it off when I'm finally done here. And it comes right out. Pretty good. Got a little up in there. Alright. This I'm going to throw out because it has those gunky things in it. Come on. And the base to this is out in the other room. So we're going to put the lid back on this. Put that up there. I have these chunky pieces to put in there. They'll all fit in there. They were in there before. Come on, get in there. There we go. And I'm going to hit my... Let's put that tin down below. And I'm going to... Let's just... Oh, well, let's do this before we do that. Hold it. Let me put this in the tin. Let's wind up my thread. Get my palette knife out of the way. Pull my sleeve up. Let me get a stick behind me. One of these sticks, one of these branches that I had out. This will work. And we will just wind it up on here. I need to do it this way. Probably have too long of a thread here. Now I probably have, I would guess maybe about 15 yards, maybe, on here. I did not measure it. I just kind of guessed how much it would be for 20 pages, plus I already had some on it, so. I've got way too big of a stick here, but that's okay. It's an experiment. I still have to get the paper jam out of my printer I would love to take this and a picture of this. This is coming loose down here. Let's go wind it up. I'd love to take a picture of this and put it in my Society of Idea Collector. But I'll put this, I don't really have a bookbinding box where I keep bookbinding stuff in. I should probably start me one where I put my all. I usually put my all in a special place over on the buffet, but if create me a bookbinding kit to where I keep wax and scissors and palette knives and needles, and I got a little bookbinding kit that I bought from Rosemary Morris, and I'll put that in there. I don't know what else she has in it. I know she has some, probably has a rounding needle, a little awl, and needles, and probably some wax thread. But it was a nice little kit. I just haven't used it. Let's see if I can wind this so it's not sticking out on me. I'm rolling my chair over this. So yeah, I would totally use this to bind with. In fact, it's probably stronger now that it has wax on it. It just feels stronger to me. My fingers are soft. Oh, the wax, and especially candle wax, probably has oil in it. This is not beeswax. So this probably has a certain amount of oil in it. To be true to a bookbinding, you would probably want to use beeswax to do bookbinding. If you were doing bookbinding for things to sell like that, you'd probably want to. I have a block of beeswax, but I use candle wax here. I would not recommend using candle wax if you were going to sell your journals. You could, but I would think that it might, because it has a certain amount of oil in it, it might seep into the page and the gutters. I don't know. I never really tried it. Or it might just tighten up your pages. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just about done here. Smells good. It's perfumed. This way, I think this was a soy candle, because boy, when it burned, it made a beautiful flame. And I was kind of worried about the flame, but it didn't. It just burned. It burned beautiful and straight, and it didn't flicker or dance. It just was a beautiful flame. Now, would I be able to find the beginning of this? I know it's here.